Hey, it's Cliff, and this is just going to be an off-the-cuff financial independence, retire early discussion as I slowly get caffeinated throughout the video. Yes, the dog is chilling back here, if you can see him. So hopefully no distractions happen and he doesn't bark and go crazy like he normally does. So it's been about a year since I've had a job, and it's given me some perspective on what I would like to retire to, what I would like this retirement to look like, what are the things that are actually needed for me to be fulfilled in my life when I'm not working anymore, and how much money I'm actually going to need to get to where I need to be. Over a decade ago, I got heavily into the financial independence retire early community, and it started with a blog by a guy named Mr. Money Mustache. I don't know if anyone actually still remembers Mr. Money Mustache, but he had a blog. He was just this normal guy. He didn't make a lot of money, to be honest. I think he was somewhere around like 40 to 65K in his career, but he invested so much of his income he was able to retire early and live a life that he never dreamed of. This guy sacrificed quite a bit by doing little things like riding his bike to work instead of using his car, where he didn't have an expense for gas or his car. I think he still had a car, he just didn't use it for most things, right? And a lot of his blog was just additional tips on how to be really frugal, to save more money, to invest in the stock market, to hopefully achieve your financial independence a lot sooner. Through that blog, I got a lot of great tips. It taught me how to be frugal. It taught me how to not really put so much value on material wealth, but look for the things that actually are making you happy, the things that you actually need in life that are actually worth spending the money on. And there's many other people like this. I think a lot of people on YouTube have probably seen Graham Stephan's video where he talks about only doing his laundry on non-peak energy hours just so he could save fractions of pennies to invest somewhere else, right? And then he also talks about not going out for coffee because you're spending so much money on all this coffee throughout the week, and there's such a high markup on the coffee that you're getting that you probably could save a lot of money and invest it and maybe retire earlier again. So throughout the years, I've watched the FIRE community kind of change to a different model. They're not so much focused now on frugality and saving every penny you can. They're more focused on a simple phrase, which is build the life you want and then save for it. I absolutely resonate with this phrase. I think when it comes to building your retirement, this is how you should be living your life. When it comes to me trying to retire early, there are things that I know I absolutely will not do. If we just take Graham Stephan's example, I love going out and getting coffee. I will spend my money on coffee because the satisfaction of going out, getting a brand new coffee, trying the different flavors, the different spots, going with my wife, and we absolutely enjoy the experience. It's so much fun that I will spend the money because I value the experience. Now, when you're considering what you're building your life to in retirement, you have to think of it as a sliding scale on how much you're gonna need in retirement. So me saying I'm gonna go out and get a bunch of coffee, yes, and maybe I have to work another year or so. But this is where you have to draw what is really important in your life and what you actually want to keep spending money on. I'll give you another example. I have a pure blood German Shepherd who obviously was expensive, but that's the kind of dog that I really wanted, and you have to pay a pretty price when you're living on an island in Hawaii to get a dog like that. Now, I know having a dog is something that I'm going to want in retirement. It's something that I have right now, and it's still bringing me joy as we talk. Down. Come. I dropped it. Okay, come. Place. Sit. Good boy. So when I look at the expenses that I'm going to need for this dog, of course, yeah, we're going to have probably crazy vet bills. We're going to need to budget for food. We're going to need to budget for toys and all the treats and everything that comes with owning a dog. And of course, this is probably going to slide my scale forward on how much I'm gonna need in retirement. But the joy that I get from owning a dog is absolutely worth spending the money on. Now you might say, I hate dogs. I'm not gonna have this major expense. I'm gonna be able to retire a little bit earlier than you now because of that. And that would be true, but now that I'm sitting here and I haven't worked for about a year, I really think you need to focus on what you're retiring to. Again, you go back to the phrase, build the life you want and then retire to it. On the other side of the coin, I've noticed there are some things that I will absolutely be frugal about. One of them is owning a car. My car is a 2012. Definitely not new. It's quite an older car and it's completely sun damaged from the Hawaiian rays. Now I know there's a lot of people out there thinking I would never drive a car like that. It looks crazy. What are people gonna think of me? And that right there is your sliding scale of what it's going to take to quit your job. Personally, I don't care what people think. As long as the car gets me to where I need to go, that's all that matters. I would rather not have a car payment because I'm not really trying to impress people. But I know I've had conversations with people who have to have a new car. They consider this a status thing that they cannot live without, and they will keep buying newer cars. So that's something that they're gonna have to factor into their budget when it comes to retirement. It's really just about envisioning the life that you want. And you can do this now, even while you're working. You should be thinking, as maybe you go to a job that you hate, you should be thinking, well, what am I gonna do with this time when I'm not working? What kind of life am I retiring to? But most importantly, how much is it going to cost to get you there? I'll give you another example. There's this lady on YouTube that you can actually search for right now. Her name is Raising Wildflowers, I believe. But the gist of her story is that she bought her own homestead. So she has this plot of land that's many, many acres. And when I look at it, I'm like, wow, this is very, very cool, right? She doesn't work a job. She used money from a house that she sold in Florida to buy this plot of land, and I believe they live in an RV right now. So I became pretty intrigued by her videos. It shows her that she's bought horses and she has like chickens, she's growing her own garden, and she's making this self-sustaining life for herself so she doesn't have to work a job. It's just her spending time with her family. I believe she has like 3 kids and a husband, and on top of all the animals that they have, and they're just living their best life. So, you know, my wheels get spinning. I start thinking maybe this is cool. This is gonna be like something that I could do at some point. I'll just buy some land and we'll kind of do the same thing that she's doing. But a lot of what I was doing is looking at the pros of living on the land, which is like the animals and all the nature, you know, being out there, and it's peaceful and relaxing. I just see myself going out and getting a nice cup of coffee and just being in the wilderness, maybe having my dog run, be crazy out in all this land. But as we start thinking about the cons, you start thinking, well, they don't have running water. They're self-sustaining, so they're using rainwater to bathe, which means they have these big giant tubs that they're using, and they have to pour into their own tub to take a bath. That also means that they don't have any modern plumbing, so they're making their own restroom to go empty themselves. Now that works for them, and again, that's the whole point of this video, is finding out what works for you. But for me, I don't see myself living without water. When I think of the fraction of pennies that you're going to spend for this modern marvel of just flushing your toilet, you know, that's where I see myself in a retirement. I want all the luxuries that a modern life is going to bring me. So that's not for me, although it is very cool to watch her videos. So I would definitely still check out her videos because it's very cool and it works for them. So there I go back to the scale. I want to flush my toilet, so maybe I have to work another year or so to actually have our modern luxuries. But you have to decide, is it worth it? Yeah, for me, having a toilet, yeah. Running water. When I just go into my bathroom and I turn the water on, yeah, that's worth it. I like a hot shower, so I'm gonna save more to have those luxuries. So over the past month, I've been trying to target how much money I need a month to have a good life. I'm not necessarily looking at extravagant expenses, but I also want to have enough cushion to be really comfortable. Now, when I really got into fire over 10 years ago, I was looking at not being married. I was more frugal. I didn't spend a lot of money. So when I looked at the 4% rule, which is how much you can take from your investments and be pretty well off still, basically the number that you're going to pull out of your investments and not diminish your returns too much, I was looking at $1 million, which at 4% would have gave me 40K. Now, compared to 10 years ago, some things have definitely changed. I'm married, which is going to cost more money. I have definitely had lifestyle inflation. So when I think of 40K a year, that's probably not going to cut it for me. I've moved to a lower cost of living area than Honolulu, which is obviously pretty easy to do because Hawaii is so expensive. And I'm really just trying to nail in how much we spend a month comfortably to get by. And then that will be my new target when I do go back to work, because although I have taken a year off, I see myself going back to work and hopefully working long enough to just pay off a house, which will also bring down my budget. If I'm guessing where we're at, I'm thinking we probably need like 6K a month to be comfortable. That's not spending outrageously, but it's also hitting up Amazon with things that we want. I go out, I buy dog treats or whatever I want. You know, I'm a big book guy. It's just being absolutely comfortable, going to get coffee, that kind of thing. I think we're targeting probably about 6K a month. So really the point of this video, I wanted to see where other people were at. Where do you see yourself in retirement? And what are the things that you will not give up in retirement? Because those are the things that we should be talking about, because we need to budget for them. We need to be including those into our retirement plans. Like, I'm sure people have thought, I love dogs. You're right, I need a budget for my dog as well. So I'm looking for things that maybe I haven't thought of, or just to get a different perspective on what people need. So that's pretty much it for this one. Please let me know down in the comments, and thank you for watching.
Stay. Watch. Go.